New Orleans Saints backup quarterback Jake Haener on comfort in new offense and heading into year 2. Ladies and gentlemen, fun video here today. So Jake Haener, fan favorite, apparently, in the comment section. Jake Haener, the backup quarterback, possibly third string, depends on who you ask. We're going to hear from him in the locker room. We don't hear too much from Jake. Actually, I don't think we've ever heard from Jake. This is his first interview I've seen, or at least reacted to. The only time I've seen Jake is in controversial yet brave, questionable yet brave photo shoot. So let's go ahead and listen to Jake, see what he's got to say. Maybe give us an insight on how his progression and development is going.
Now that you're here into minicamp, all the regular players are here. How's it been?
Unbelievable mouth movement there. I mean, there was a lot happening with the mouth. I mean, let's just watch. Again, we got...
Now that you're here into minicamp,
a lot of stuff happening.
The regular players are here. How's it been?
Get it together, Jake.
OTAs and minicamp.
I think it's pretty much the same, honestly. I try to take every practice the same, and it's great, obviously, having some of the vet players here, but for me, it's the same process. Everything's the same every day, and I think they've done a really good job, offensive staff-wise, of challenging us mentally every day. There's new install every day, mental jumping jacks every day, so really forcing me to stay on task, and I think it's been really productive.
How come?
Something we've heard from Kubiak, we've heard from him during his interviews, that he's trying to dump a lot on these players. He's trying to give them a huge workload as far as like understanding the playbook, understanding the scheme, all that. He's not babying them. I mean, it sounds like he's given 100% pretty much of the install and hoping they can catch up. So I think that's part of the challenge. Part of this process is just, throwing them in and seeing if they can sink or swim. So I like that. I also like the idea that they are mentally challenged every day. A lot of people have asked me if I think it's good that the Saints play their toughest stretch of the season at the beginning of the season. I think it is good, because if you are being mentally challenged and you are being forced to stay sharp and all of that this early on into training camp, mini camp, OTAs, whatever, like if you're doing that, you are ready to roll, you would think, when the season comes. And a lot of teams, they start real slow. And the Kansas City Chiefs are a team that notoriously has started slow. So the Dallas Cowboys, again, they're learning the brand new defense. Their roster's gotten worse. They're getting new players in. Dak's having a contract dispute. So catching them early is good. Catching teams that are maybe not as dialed in, maybe not as mentally focused as the Saints are, I think it's a fantastic thing for the Saints. So I'd love to hear this from Jake.
How comfortable are you now with the new system?
Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable. Today was the first time I threw an interception, unfortunately, but as far as the progressions and everything, I'm still getting my feet, my timing, and all that dialed in, and I think that's what this time is for. But I think they've done a really good job at not letting us get comfortable and forcing us to every day stretch our mind and really push us. So I think they've done a really good job at that. And when we get to training camp, hopefully it's not the first time we've seen it.
It's also like, as far as like being comfortable, since everything is so new, even the defense, when they're seeing it, they may be seeing something on Monday. When they come back on Tuesday, it's totally different. Whereas before, the defense probably could be comfortable because they knew exactly what, DeMario Davis and Cam Jordan know exactly what to expect every single day facing this offense. They've done it their entire, Cam Jordan's done it his entire career. So if the offense is staying uncomfortable, learning new stuff every day, new looks every day, all that, the defense is also staying uncomfortable. So it just breeds this hyper focus. And I mean, I can't see any way where that's not hugely positive for the offense and defense.
Today was the first time we saw Spencer working with the twos, because we haven't been here for the entire week. So that's something that you guys have been doing.
Usually he goes one time a week and we go alternate. So I'm trying to do, I don't even know what it is. I do 2 times a week normally with the twos, and he has ones. So just the way it goes.
Very normal. I mean, that's something that is totally normal, for Spencer Rattler to be getting some work with the twos. Interesting question. Jake, I'm sure Jake wants to be the backup quarterback. For him to have that question and have to talk about Spencer, he's got to kind of walk a fine line of, okay, I want to hype my teammate up. He's a rookie. I want to be supportive, but I also want to beat this guy out for this job. I also want to be the backup quarterback. He's trying to take my job. I'm trying to stop him from doing that. So there is a level of competition there, but I think he handled the question well. And again, it is not damning of Jake Haener or Spencer Rattler of who's getting what reps. Like, it's a competition. It's early. It's minicamp. So you want to see Jake getting the reps with the twos, and you want to see Spencer getting the reps with the twos. You don't want right now, this early in the process, for Clint Kubiak or Andrew Janocka or whoever to say, you know what, Jake's the 2, Spencer's the 3, all right, let's let it rip, and you eliminate that competition. That's what this is all for, even if the competition is relatively fabricated, which I think it might be. I think Jake probably is going to end up being the 2, and Spencer will end up being the 3, and they'll just continue to develop. But that simulated competition is only going to be good for Spencer and only going to be good for Jake. So I wouldn't put too much stock into like who's taking what reps with what team. I'd put way more stock into how they're absorbing the offense, how they're handling progressions, and all that.
As OTAs, we both got to learn, both got to get reps. And when I go with the 3s, I try to do everything I can to be productive and in and out of the huddle, and time on task, just get things done.
People have been talking a lot about you throughout OTAs and this offseason work, and just how much further ahead you look, how accurate. Do you feel different coming into the season?
I mean, I feel like the more time you spend on stuff, the more comfortable you get. And last year there's a lot of things you got to handle as a rookie, and I had some unique things I had to deal with as a rookie.
AKA PED suspension. And I like, unique things, AKA incline bench press PRs, AKA cell mass no explode stacks. Let's actually, now that I think about that, let's go ahead and get a tour of Jake's locker room so I can see what sups he's on. I want to see how many milligrams of creatine is he taking a day? What is his stack? What's his pre-workout? What's his post-workout? Are we doing inter-workout meals? Are we eating a cup of rice, a banana? Are we eating anything like that inside of the workout? Do we have shakes? Do we have boosters? What's going on here? Are we doing a non-stem pre-workout? Are we doing full-on 250, 300 milligrams of caffeine pre-workout? Where are we at with that? What kind of drops of lavender, deer blood? Like, what's going on in the locker room? So I would like to see a tour of that. And again, I respect it. Okay, so I like that he had some unique things, aka 20% off at GNC, to deal with last season. Hugely, take that aside, hugely beneficial for Jake that he got to go through his rookie season and have it completely wiped away. Y'all remember, we're going to do a little bit of a rabbit hole here. When I was in college at the University of Southern Mississippi, there was something called, now I'm forgetting the term of it. But you basically, you had one semester that, it might have been called like a goose egg or something like that, but you had one semester where you could take whatever this term was, and it was basically like you could eliminate the semester. So if you failed every class, you could take this term. I'm just going to call it a goose egg because I don't remember what it was. I don't think it was a goose egg, but if you failed every class, you could take your goose egg, your one time in your entire college career or whatever, and none of those classes would go on your record. So it was basically like you got to go through the college experience, you got to go through the first year, and you got to do it without any repercussions. Now, granted, you still have to pay for it, which, of course, is incredibly beneficial for the college to say, yeah, just wipe away all those hours that you took. We're still going to charge you for it, and that'll make you take an extra semester. So genius move from them. But that's basically what Jake got to do, where nothing, and not just Jake, but everybody else on the team, where none of the stuff that happened last year really matters because none of the coaches, like Andrew Janocka, Clint Kubiak, the people who are working with Jake on a very close basis, they weren't here. They didn't see any of that. So all the interceptions Jake threw, all the bad practices he had, I'm just saying if he did have them, all the, slip-ups or the whoopsie-poopsies that he had throughout his first rookie year, which I'm sure happened, nobody that matters, none of the coaching staff that matters in his world saw them. So he gets to go through that. He gets to get all those rookie reps out of the way, and now he gets a whole year of experience to hit the ground running with a brand new coaching staff. Spencer Rattler, he doesn't get that benefit because the mistakes, the whoopsie-poopsies, all that stuff that he's going to naturally make his rookie year, he's going to make in front of the most important coaches to him. right? So it's such a good situation for a young quarterback to be in. And I mean, I don't know what's going to end up happening 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, as far as like, will Jake Haener be a starting quarterback? Will Spencer Rattler be a starting quarterback? I don't know. But I do know that right now, you could not make a better situation if you're Jake Haener or Spencer Rattler.
But for me, I think spending time with John Gruden was great. Just being able to get in the offseason, get it started early, and be able to get a grasp of what we're going to run this year. I think he's been a great mentor for me, somebody that I've been able to lean on, get information from, and obviously when it comes to OTAs, just putting a lot of time in with my teammates and time by myself as well, trying to get this.
It's crazy how many people mention John Gruden. Like, Carr mentions them all the time. Haener's now mentioning them. I'm sure Carr made that connection. I mean, Carr, Haener, both Fresno State guys. Gruden, obviously, him and Carr are tight. I'm sure Carr helped that out with Haener. But everyone that works with Gruden, and say what you want about the guy, I don't care. But every single person that works with Gruden comes back and says, like, I mean, they can't stop talking about him. So it's pretty wild.
The system dialed, and right now I do feel very comfortable with it. I feel when I go into the huddle I have command, and I take control of every situation, and I just try to do everything I can to throw it accurately and be on time.
How much have you been leaning on Derek now?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time actually with Derek this offseason, just getting to know him better and spend more time with him. I think that's been really important, and I think our connection and our relationship has definitely grown because of that. So I appreciate the time that he spends with me and the time that he's really helped me just try to become a more polished passer.
Mm-hmm. How much?
I mean, we've covered some Spencer Rattler interviews, and I think Spencer's very well spoken, and his answers are good and all that. Jake's a hell of an interview. I mean, these are some great answers. He's a well-spoken guy. He's thoughtful. So I'm impressed with all three of the quarterbacks as far as interviews. I mean, it's not easy either. Like, to do these interviews, like, you don't know what they're going to ask you. You got a camera in your face. You're trying to balance your own career versus how you're perceived by the fans and how you're perceived in the locker room. Like, it's difficult, right? I mean, I know from being a reporter, and I did this, I didn't do sports, I did crime, but I remember interviewing people and, like, they were on guard because they know that any answer they say, I could use any way I want it, right? So, and that's a very small lens compared to the New Orleans Saints, even though it was a Pulitzer Prize-winning newspaper. No big deal. But, for Jake Haener, just kind of rip these questions off, kind of tap dance between some very, very hot topics, Spencer Rattler, backup quarterbacks, rookie year, Derek Carr, and answer it the way he's answering. I'm very impressed. So I hope they do more interviews with Jake.
Are you looking forward to getting back to California?
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I haven't really been home at all because I went to Florida, when everything got going. So from February on, I haven't been home, and it'll be nice to go see my parents. My mom's going to retire, so she'll be done on the 20th. Go see her last newscast, and then have a much-needed little break.
There you go, man. Enjoy it, Jake. Enjoy it. Good interview. Yeah. First time I've really heard Jake. Like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing more of a stack. More of what he's doing for shoulders, more of what he's doing. Is he doing Zercher deadlifts? Is he, I wouldn't mind seeing some of that. But, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And, ladies and gentlemen, I talk about Rattler a lot, and people have said that I'm rooting for Rattler. I could care less. If Jake Haener's a Hall of Fame quarterback, I'll be the biggest Jake Haener fan this side of the Mississippi. So I hope he develops. I hope he progresses. Again, I think it's fantastic that the Saints have two young quarterbacks to develop behind a veteran. Good situation. It's a very healthy situation. I think it's a very positive situation. It doesn't seem like there's any kind of pressure on these guys to do anything outside of their means, or they're going to get cut or anything like that. There's no pressure on Carr to play well, or blank player will take his job this year. It's very nice, very organic, very, very serendipitous word of the day. A very serendipitous situation. So, good stuff. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about Jake Haener's interview. I appreciate everyone watching. I'll see you in the next video.